Well, the House has also approved a bill that you sponsored to shore up the 911 services, giving internet phone providers direct access to the 911 system. Has that been a problem? I wouldn't even have thought of that.
Well, because when you pick up the phone, you expect when you dial 911 that it's going to, you're going to get received somewhere. Yes. But what's happening is that there's a new type of phone service called Voice over the Internet Protocol, VoIP, that more and more, and it's less expensive, so more and more people are choosing that. And they feel the same way. Well, I'll just call 911. Well, it's not plugged into 911. And again, part of that is having developed these interoperability standards. And what this legislation will do is set up the framework. So no matter if you're on a hard line, on a VoIP line, on wireless, whatever it might be, when you dial 911, you're going to know that you're going to get through. And that's important because there's been a number of occasions where people have dialed 911 through these services that don't connect. We're also, part of the legislation will make make that service more available for the deaf and others in that regard. So, and the other thing, it establishes a platform for future communication services that we don't know are going to exist, that will also be able to plug into 911.
I'm guessing that these companies must be required by law to let people know that it doesn't access 911.
Well, they're really not. And the fact of the matter is, if they did, it would be on page 13 of a 24-page document. And the fact of the matter is, we have just become accustomed to knowing that you can dial 911. So you just assume that you can, but that's unfortunately that's not a valid assumption now.
Well, we recommend you call your company. Don't pick up your phone and dial 111 needlessly to find out if it's there. They have better things to do right now. Let's talk a little bit about illegal immigration. It has pretty much been tagged by most people as a federal issue. And now a subcommittee of science and technology is looking to see if border patrols and customs have what they need technologically, is that the word, to do their job well.
Well, the fact of the matter is, I personally think it's a part of our national security to secure our borders. We were talking about methamphetamine earlier, so much of our drugs is being brought over the border. Terrorists can come over the border. So we've got to secure both the southern border, our northern border, and our ports. And you simply aren't going to be able to have all of them. The Border Patrol agents hold their arms, and lock arms like this. And you're not going to be able to put practically a wall across the whole area either. So that's where, hopefully more economically, as well as in a better way, we can use some high technology to be able to help secure the borders. But what we're finding is that some of the technology doesn't necessarily meet what the border agents need. And also some of the technology can't properly work in the type of sandy or hot conditions that they might have. So we're trying to really bring the real world together with the high-tech world to get better technology, but also technology that can be implemented in the real world to help us with this border security.
And of course, everybody, all the naysayers bring up the big brothers watching. They don't want their privacy infiltrated. But you think this is really, there's some really important technology out there to secure our borders.
Well, I want them watching the border, and I want them watching underneath. So much we're finding now where tunnels they're building tunnels just, long distances, and they're hard to recognize, and it will bring technology that will be able allow us to detect those tunnels underneath. Again, we're not talking about bringing this to Gallatin. We're talking about putting it on the borders.
Well, since you brought it up, let's talk a little bit. You authored passage of legislation recently to establish methamphetamine health-based cleanup guidelines. This was something that you also spoke about last time you were here with us. You've been working to get this through for a little while. You said this is to protect unsuspecting families, and I may move into a home that someone had an illegal meth lab in. Tell us a little bit about that problem.
Well, there's a couple of problems. Correct. You might very well move into a house. You would not know it. Also, you could be a police officer or a first responder that's getting ready to go into a house to make a bust, and not know the conditions you're getting into. Also, right now there are no standards for cleaning up a house where there's, or apartment, whatever it might be, where there was a methamphetamine being cooked. So if you are if you're Widow Jones and you are renting out a house for your retirement, and there was a methamphetamine bust there, then you can't sell it, you can't do anything with it because there's no standards to clean it up. If you're a bank, then you're also stuck with whatever that mortgage might be. So what we're doing is, once again, using the National Institute of Standards and Technology to develop guidelines for what do you have to do and how do you get certified for cleaning up a meth area, and also to providing really contemporaneous kits so that if you're a first responder, you'll be able to test before you go in and know what you're getting into.
What kind of signs would people be aware of if they moved into a home that was contaminated? Are you aware of what kind of illness people are getting? Or?
Well, unfortunately, the children are the most susceptible, and by the time, it's going to affect their ability to learn, and by the time that happens, that's not how you want to diagnose a problem, is that you find that your child is behind. You want to know that in advance. Mm-hmm. So I think this is one of this technology is very important.
All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about your immediate priorities. Since the last time we talked to you, you have obviously pushed a lot of great things through. What are you working on right now?
Well, right now we're in the midst of an energy bill, and I want to see that we get that completed. I say completed. I think you're going to see a series of energy and climate change bills over the years, with the ultimate goal of becoming more energy independent in this country. So that's something that's going to be very important. I want to finish our work on the healthcare IT. We are looking at a variety of issues next year and trying to make water more accessible and clean water more accessible. Clearly, we want to monitor our math and science programs. And we're in the process right now of really bringing all of our Democratic and Republican members together to talk about what are their interests for the coming year. And we'll come together with a 2008 agenda. But I find that to be successful, you really need to work bipartisanly. And what I try to do is, be the committee of good ideas and consensus. We'll find, these good ideas, we'll build a consensus, and we'll take it through. And the result has been we've passed over 30 pieces of legislation. All have been bipartisan and all but one unanimous. And that's how you get results. And so I want to bring all of our folks together to move forward.
Well, people here in Middle Tennessee will certainly be watching that water initiative, because that's been an access problem we've been talking about a lot lately here on Inside Politics. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Great, thank you.
Well, if you want to learn more about topics we've discussed today, or you need help with issues like Social Security disability, passport applications, or Medicare, Congressman Gordon's office is there to help you. Just log on to his website at gordon.house.gov. You can also write to him at the address on your screen or call his office at area code 202-225-4231.
Or come by the office. We have an office in the basement of the old courthouse on the square, so just come on by.
Or come on by. We'll see you next time right here on Inside Politics.
For more information about the guest on this show, please visit our website at ballstate.edu/insidepolitics.